So we will be recording today's session, just as a heads up for you all so that you're aware, and that's so that we can post this afterwards on our website for anyone who wasn't able to attend the training so that they can view it afterwards, and you all can use it as a resource as well. So by way of brief introductions, my name is Jason Andrews. I manage the grant program here at the Community Foundation, and today I have my colleague Shauna with me. Shauna, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi all, I'm Shauna Griffith Myers, and I know some of you probably received emails from me. I'm usually your initial point of contact when it comes to the Community Grant Reader Program, and we're just excited and we welcome you all to participate in this partnership with us.
Thanks, Shauna. So additionally, we also have 3 other members of our department. Adrian Buckner is our Vice President of Grants and Community Engagement, as well as our Chief DEI Officer. Kathy Bollinger is our Executive Director of Embracing Aging and Trove Street, and Layla Boyce, who is our Grants and Scholarship Program Manager. So since we have a fairly small group today, I want to keep this somewhat interactive and get you guys involved a little bit. So if we can do some brief introductions, there's no formal order that we'll do this in, so feel free. If any brave soul would like to start us out, you can give us your name, the area of York that you are from or representing, and your interest in being a community grant reader, and any other brief things that you would like to share. So I'll kick it to whoever wants to be brave and go first.
I'll go first. I'm Joan Caruso. I live in Spry, which is South Queen Street. My interest in becoming a grant reader is I've done it in the past, and I find it interesting to see how we're giving money to the different nonprofits in the community.
Hi, my name is Ron Bennetson. I am a volunteer and a board member for the Northeast Neighborhood Association. And so I am interested in the same thing, seeing what kind of grants are out there, how people are applying for different things. And I have some experience a little bit in at least reading some grants when I worked for WellSpan.
My name is Lopa Banerjee. I am a repeat. I have been doing this for some time, reading grants. I live in the Queen Street area behind York Hospital. I find this not just a exhilarating but a humbling experience to see how much is available not only in our community but how many organizations like YCCF are doing their utmost to help the community. It also gives me tremendous knowledge about what is available so that I can give this information to anybody who is aware. Once again, it's absolutely a humbling experience, and I'm just indebted that I have been given, or I am being offered this experience or opportunity again. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Nancy Clayhold. I'd like to introduce myself. I've been involved with the York Community Foundation for many, many years. I'm a financial advisor with Fulton Bank. I've served 10 years on the York Community Foundation's investment committee. I've represented clients who are donors of the Community Foundation. So I've always been on the other side of what we do. Gathering assets, managing assets. So it intrigues me to get involved on the other side where we actually give the money out to nonprofits and individuals that are doing philanthropic work. I'm a lifelong resident of York, grew up in the city. I currently live in Seven Valleys, but I'm very interested to hear the kind of things that are going on in our community. Thank you.
My name is Tyletta Sweeney, from North York area, born and raised in York. I joined to get to know a little bit more about grants, to educate myself on like reading grants, eventually would like to write grants. So this is something that I just, you know, joined just to try to get more education on it.
All right, last call. Anyone else want to share a little bit?
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Krosky, and I live in Manchester. I'm not a lifelong resident of York. I was originally from Maryland, but I am a lifelong educator. So seeing how the grants tie in with the education process and all the other areas, it's intriguing to see how much is out there. One thing I noticed when I moved to York, I always felt that it was a very giving community. I see the different things that go on and how they give to groups. And so I'm happy to be on this side of it to see the back scenes of what all goes on in this and how many organizations are out there that do things for the community of York.
My name is Carol Greer. I'm living in Leaders Heights, but I'm originally from New York City and retired and would like to do as many things as I'm able to physically. And I've been doing this for a few years, but I hadn't listened to the first training. I just listened to it online, and I thought I'd like to know more about it.
Well, thank you all for sharing a little bit about your background and your interest in the program. And a special thanks to those of you who have participated for multiple years or are engaged in some of YCCF's other work and committees. We truly appreciate your time that you so graciously volunteer to us. So jumping right in, the purpose of this training is to equip you all to understand the Community Grant Reader Program and everything that it will entail, including implementation of best practices for scoring grants and identifying areas of concern when scoring, and then more practically to understand how to log into GLM, which is our grant portal, Grant Lifecycle Manager, we call it GLM for short, and be prepared and feel ready to score the grants when they are assigned within GLM. And I should add as well, if you have any questions as we're going, you're welcome to type them in the chat, and Shauna will get either responses to you in the moment or we'll touch back on them at the end. But feel free to call stuff out, to drop it in the chat. With a small group, we can just take them as they come. So how the program works. YCCF's Community Grants Program aims to provide an opportunity for local nonprofit organizations to access grants of $10,000 or less to support specific projects or programs in line with YCCF's priorities, while providing the York community the opportunity to engage with the grant review process to determine how grant funds are distributed. So the one thing that you'll want to note here right away is some of you who have participated in the past will probably recognize this year we have upped the maximum amount that applicants can apply for from $6,000 to $10,000. We felt that this was more in line with what a small grant should be, and that $6,000 just fell a little short of being able to adequately support some projects that our applicants have applied for. So hopefully that $10,000 amount will encourage a couple of more organizations in the community to apply. And that's something that will give them a little bit more space and grace when budgeting for their programs. So how the program works. Community grant readers will review and score all of the community grant applications that come into us from nonprofits in the community. All of your scores will then be combined and averaged out, with the highest scoring grants receiving funding, and grants that don't score as high as others ultimately potentially not receiving funding. YCCF staff will review the applications prior to assigning them to you all to review, just to ensure that they are fundable and that they meet all of our requirements, that the organizations have their nonprofit certification, things of that nature, just to ensure that they are eligible. We will not make any funding determinations. That is all up to the grant readers. So we're truly just making sure that they are good to go and then allowing you all to determine what grants get funded or not. Additionally, grants can still be funded if they are not funded through the Community Grant Reader Program. If they score low, they can still be funded by some of our other donors or committees if they find that project compelling. So just because a grant scores low doesn't mean it may not get funded somewhere else through some of our other opportunities. So our community grants focus on two of our specific grant programs here. The first one would be our Thrive grants. Thrive grants focus on programs and collaboratives that transform lives and our community by helping low-income individuals build economic mobility. So the focus areas for our Thrive program are career development, child and youth development, housing, and transportation. The expectation is that any of our applicants who are applying for the Thrive grants, that their program is essentially falling into one of those buckets, if not more. If their project, for instance, deals with career development and housing, the more the better, but ultimately they should be squarely fitting in at least one of those categories. Additionally, Thrive supports some other priorities that are not listed there that are a little bit more minor. A good example of that would be financial education, something that still helps low-income individuals build economic mobility, but maybe isn't as much a priority as those four that are listed on the screen. So the funds for this program are used to support new and existing projects or programs that nonprofits are running, as well as potentially planning, research, or development. So we really want our applicants to focus on programmatic goals and actual things that they are doing, rather than capital campaign support, structural improvements or renovations, or just meeting budget operating shortfalls. So typically, if you're reading an application and it feels like they are just looking for money to add into the pot, or that it is something in the structural or renovation sort of category, that's really not what we're going for with this program. And that sort of is across the board in YCCF's grant opportunities. So if you do see those, tend to shy away from them or factor that into your scoring. The other grant program that our community grant supports is our Embracing Aging grant program. So YCCF's Embracing Aging, EA for short, grant program improves how people experience aging in York County. Grants are awarded to initiatives serving individuals age 50 plus. EA focuses on the priority areas of housing, transportation, healthy living, employment, and increasing joy and meaning. And again, just the same as the Thrive grant program, these funds are really to be used for programmatic activities rather than capital campaign support, structural renovations, things of that nature. So briefly, I just want to walk you all through the main categories of our grant application, so you're familiar with what the applicants are filling out prior to viewing each individual application when you get to that point. So we start out the application with our grantee eligibility. This is essentially just a checkbox for applicants, ensuring that they have read our eligibility guidelines and that they meet YCCF's eligibility requirements. So this is just a simple checkbox for them, not really anything there for you to review or score, just make sure that they have checked it. The project narrative section makes up the bulk of the application and really includes all of the written portions that you'll be reading and evaluating. So this includes a title, a summary, and then more importantly, a project description, which will have the bulk of what they're providing, as well as a mission statement listing their values, a little bit of their history, and then sections for them to list any organizations that they are collaborating with for the project, as well as a little bit that they speak to for sustainability and additional outcomes that they expect. Sustainability is not something that is crucial to every program. It's sort of specific to what an organization may be doing, but typically speaking, we do like to see ongoing initiatives being sustained at some level by organizations, so they aren't doing things that are outside of their means, for lack of a better term. Next up is the project information section. This is just bulk of additional information that isn't captured in the narrative, such as the start and end dates of the project, the quarter of the calendar year that they are applying during, and the type of program or project they're seeking funding for. Is this a new program? Is it an existing program that is core to what the nonprofit does? Is it an existing program that is maybe not core to what they do, but still important? Is it research and development? Things of that nature. The fourth section is program specifics. This is very brief and just asks applicants to select for the Thrive grants what focus area their application best fits. So those 4 focus areas we looked at on the Thrive grant slide, they will select and tell you all which one that their application falls under. And then in this section, they also give an estimate upfront for the number of individuals that they intend to serve through the program. And that sort of helps you as you move on and eventually look at the budget, identify how many people they're really assisting with the money that they're asking for. Kind of gives you an idea of your ROI, return on investment of the funds that are being given out. So that next section is the budget and financials. And this really is a section where they provide an overview of the financial side of their project. So we expect them to upload a budget document. This should be in Excel or PDF form, and it's downloadable for you all to view. But we occasionally get them in other documents, such as a Word document. It's not our preference, and it's not what the applicant should be doing, but sometimes it does come through looking a little funny. Additionally, they provide their total project budget, the amount of that total project budget that they are seeking from YCCF in their application, and a brief explanation of other funding sources that they have applied to or may be pursuing to support the project. The next section is program and demographic data / diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this section is not to be factored into your scoring. It is just for them to provide a little bit of information about their board and leadership demographics, so YCCF can track broad trends in the community in nonprofit leadership. So in here, you can see that they'll provide some information on their board, their leadership, and upload a list of their board of directors that you all may view just to certify that they have uploaded it and they do have an operating board. And additionally, they will be expected to provide a mandatory anti-discrimination policy as well as a DEI policy. So those 2 are 2 particular ones to look for. You just want to make sure that the organization has both of those policies and that they have submitted them in the appropriate box. Not making any value judgments on their statements, just ensuring that they have them and that they have checked that they are board certified. And then lastly, these 2 sections won't factor in too much to your scoring at all as well. The authorization section, they just place the name, title, and contact information of the individual who would be signing the contract if they were awarded a grant by you all. And then the supporting document section, where they will provide audited financial statements, their 501c3 nonprofit certification, as well as letters of support, collaboration, and some other documents that are optional for applicants, such as their charitable organization certification, and a few other upload sections for them to provide anything else they would feel would be helpful. So threw a lot at you, but that is in essence the bulk of what they will be filling out in the application that you all will be reading. Moving on to grant scoring. So you all will be scoring grants based on the below criteria. The scores range from 0 to 5, with 5 being the highest, and you will be evaluating them based on project alignment with the program in question. So does their application align with our Thrive or Embracing Aging program, depending on which one they're applying to? Program design is essentially, does this program make sense? Is it well designed? Do you feel like they are conveying clearly that it will be successful? Things of that nature. Impact is an evaluation of the impact that the program intends to have. Outcomes, kind of tied to impact, but this is just an evaluation of what they are saying the outcomes for the program will be and what they expect to get out of it. Budget, which is sort of, again, tied to return on investment. Really here, you're just making sure that the budget aligns with what they are claiming to do. So for instance, if you have 2 programs, 2 applications that are sort of aiming to do the same thing from 2 different organizations, and one of them is making their $8,000 request serve double the amount of people as the other, then that would be a clear thing that, okay, you know, both of these budgets are all right, but one of them is going to serve many more people and make those dollars go further than another. And that might score a little higher in your mind compared to other applications. And then lastly, we've provided a section for you to provide any comments you have after you review a grant, whether those are things of note that you just want to pass along that you've noticed in the application, things you liked, any concerns you have. This is truly open-ended. Whatever you feel is most relevant to convey about the application, you can put in there. And we do read all of these as we ensure that these applicants and applications meet our requirements, you know, making sure that there aren't anything, there isn't anything that you all find that would be disqualifying that may have been missed, things of that nature. So then lastly, I just want to take you all through a little explanation of how to access your account, practically getting into Grant Lifecycle Manager and getting started on your reviews. So the first thing that you'll want to do is go to yccf.org. That is our website, and it'll look roughly like this screen you are seeing here. I think we've cycled our pictures out, so you may not see a child eating a sandwich. You may see pictures of York that look beautiful, but essentially, this is what you'll be viewing. Once you get to the website, and you can see right there, just yccf.org, you'll be looking at that top nav bar that's highlighted at the very top of the screen. And you will want to click the grant login button. So go to yccf.org, click grant login, and it will take you right into GLM. So this is what you should see after you click on grant login. And you'll see at the moment my login is entered there, but this should come up as blank for you. And what you will end up doing is use your email address that you had provided to us to register for the program, and then use the temporary password YCCF test listed there on the screen. So make sure to copy that down, to have it, to know it. That will be your initial password. And then once you enter that and get into your account, you can change that password to something personal. Additionally, you'll notice here that if you can't find it for any reason, this page also has my email, my phone number, all my contact information. You can always reach out to myself as well as Shauna if you have any questions, run into any issues. I'm best reached by email, but really however you would like to reach me. So once you log in, this is what your home screen will look like. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see your name. And if you hover over that, that is how you will access the Edit My Profile to change your password and add any additional information you would like, as well as a sign out option when you're done. You can click the little home icon at the top right next to our Community Foundation logo, and that will always bring you back to your dashboard where all the grants will be listed at. Your grants will appear right under here, right in this table that currently says no data available. That will be listed with grants top down and will look something like this once they're in. So each grant will show you a little bit of basic information about it. And ultimately, to access the grant, you can either click the PDF looking icon or any of the blue links related to the project itself. If the wording is blue, it is a link and you can directly click on it. It'll take you right into the grant to start your scoring. Once you have scored the grant, on the far right side for that grant, it will show you a little check mark to show that you scored it, as well as the score that you ultimately gave to that grant. So it'll track which ones you scored and which ones you haven't in real time. So that is the bulk of what I had for you all. At this time, we're going to open it up to you guys for comments, questions, thoughts, anything that you would like to ask or share with our team, since you have our time. And with that, I'll kick it to you all. Shauna, if you would like to add anything as well that I may have missed, feel free to do so.
And I just want to let everyone know that after the presentation, either later today or early morning, I'm going to there's a kickback. Sorry. I'm going to provide everyone with a brief summary. In the brief summary, I will also have your password there as well as a link to easily get to the grant login if you didn't remember, or just to have it as an easy go-to. I like to suggest that everyone either flag or star that email, because it's always a really good quick reference. And we'll also have a link where you can access these slides, as well as this presentation again for your reference if you would like to replay anything, or if you would like to go back to a slide while you're reevaluating.
Jason, can you give us an idea of the timeline as to when we get the applications and how long we have to review them, and what the full grant cycle looks like?
Yeah, great question, Nancy. Happy to give you guys a little idea, and I may actually lean on you, Shauna, since my screen is locked since I'm sharing, if you have that in front of you.
So I know that we anticipate to have grants to you by, sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. By Monday, the 11th, the latest. And typically, depending on the amount of grants that we have, we give about 3 weeks to score, but it depends. So if we only have about 6 grants or 7 grants, we will do 2 weeks, but usually we do a standard 3 week. I also want to note, and again, Nancy, thank you for this question. This is part 1 of the process. So we have basically a 6-step process, and this is step 1, because this truly is a community partnership. We will never negate your scores. So if you all scored Mickey Mouse's grant the highest, then that is the grant that will be scored. We don't alter and we don't change. However, because 40 people have signed up, we may end up with 35 grant readers. And at times we do have to pause in the process to either troubleshoot or to help walk through. So with that stated, I just want to make note that this is step 1. And by the time we announce the grants, we are probably closer to May when we announce the grants. I also want to highlight that prior to the grants being announced, usually the morning or day before, you all will receive notification first as to which grants were chosen. This way you all do not have to look for a press release, or you all not kept in the dark. We will email you the same way we communicate with you which grants were chosen. And Joan, if you have connection with one of the nonprofits requesting funds, if you haven't told us in that initial sign-up screen where you feel you may have conflict of interest, but you may read a grant that you're like, wait a minute, I may be familiar, or this is my church, you can email myself or Jason to let us know, and we'll have that grant removed from your dashboard. If we can, we'll replace it with another one, or we'll just remove it completely and you'll have one less grant to score.
That also raises something else real quick that I want to touch on, is that typically if we aren't receiving a really, really high volume of grant requests, we will assign all of the requests to each reader unless it gets too out of hand in volume. But if you have any volume restrictions, if you only want to score, let's say, 4 grants, you can reach out to us and let us know. Or you can simply score whichever 4 that you would like to score and leave the others on your dashboard. That won't hurt anything. So don't feel forced to score more of them than you would like to. Truly, as many as you would like to participate in scoring, you can do. Any other questions, thoughts?
Do the grant applications have a deadline? Like, it's not a rolling application? Or is there a certain date when they're in and then that's it for this cycle?
Yeah, good question. So most of our grant programs are rolling applications, but for community grants, since it's very specific to you all scoring them, we do a window of about a month where they can apply. So that is open at the moment. It was from the beginning of February to the beginning of March that applicants had.
And there is a second cycle that starts on August 2nd.
Any last questions, outstanding thoughts anyone has that they would like to share?
Very impressive, very well organized. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Well, with that, I will give you guys a good chunk of your time back. Thank you all for joining us, and again, for volunteering your time. This program is very, very valuable to us to be able to involve the community in the grant making that we do. And we've been very encouraged by how it ran last year and hope to make some changes and have it be even better this year. So thanks again. You know where to find us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you, Jason.